Do I have your permission to change and put the queen on this square? Can I do that? Please? Please? No? No, I can't. I have to be a man of my word. Okay, I'll play queen to d2. I have kind of a joke in chess, and I'm not sure you're going to find it funny, but here goes anyway. In chess, it's all about learning the general rules for the first couple years of your life, then learning the exceptions for the rest of your life. What do I mean by this? Well, I am super happy when you listen to my videos and you do the things that I ask you to do. However, if you just do them on autopilot without thinking about whether or not the rules apply in a specific position, well, that can sometimes get you in trouble. So here's what we're going to do today. I am going to develop all of my pieces to their best squares without thinking at all about my opponent's moves in the least, and we're going to see if that works out. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you my first, 10 moves of the game. I'm going to put both my pawns on these two squares. I'm going to put both knights on the happy squares. I'm going to put both bishops aiming at the middle of the chessboard. I'm going to castle my king to the right. I'm going to move my queen up. I'm going to bring both of my rooks to the center. And I'm going to do all of those moves no matter what my opponent does. Do you think it's a good strategy? I don't know. It's the perfect position, but will it be imperfect? Well, I think you might already know the answer to that. Let's find out. And I'm not going to play one of our strongest spots. I'm going to play Ziggy because I'm still going to try to win using my own brain when I turn off the autopilot when all of those moves are done. So here we go. Let's click play. Yippee. Here we go. Pawn to e4. Now we are finally off and running. Yes, I'm taking control of the center. Okay, now I'm going to play my knight to the happy square. Why not? Okay, let's bring the other knight to the happy square. So far, everything looks fine. So far, autopilot is fine. Okay, now I'm going to put my bishop on this square. Now I'm going to put my pawn on d4. Uh-oh, don't take my pawn. Oh, no. Now I'm going to put my bishop here. Oh, no. I'm losing all my pieces. Yeah, this is terrible. Okay, I'm going to castle my king. And yeah, this is why you shouldn't play on autopilot. Now, originally I told you I was going to put my queen here, and I was going to put both my rooks in the middle of the board. Do I have your permission to change and put the queen on this square? Can I do that? Please? Please? No? No, I can't. I have to be a man of my word. Okay, I'll play queen to d2, and that's a terrible chess move. I'll play my rook to d1, and my rooks are now both in the center of the board, even though there's a pawn on d2, and I am playing terrible chess. Matter of fact, my opponent just about checkmated me there, but you know what? Now I'm a free fun master. Now I get to do whatever I want. Let's take the queen. Hopefully you won't take my bishop. Please don't take my bishop. Oh, lucky. Didn't take my bishop. Okay, now can I win this game with just a rook and two bishops and a knight? Because I played on autopilot. I don't know, but now I'm going to use my real brain. Now, when you're behind in a chess game, you don't want to make trades. So a part of me wants to run the bishop away. However, I think I need to capture the free knight while it's still there, and my rook would guard my bishop at least. So let's play rook takes and hope for the best. Please don't take my bishop. Oh no, reducing my army. Okay, so all I have left is a rook, a bishop, and a knight. But I am double teaming this pawn. Oh no, Ziggy just saved the pawn. Okay, how do I do something? Now, if my knight could get to g7, that'd be checkmate. But by the time I go 1, and then 2, and then try to checkmate, you're just going to take my knight. So that's not going to work. By the way, if my knight goes here, you could also fork me. Now, if I play rook e4, you can fork me. I don't want that to happen. Let's bring my bishop back. Because if I take this pawn, maybe I can do like bishop here one day. Okay, here's my new plan. I'm going to play rook here. I'm going to play rook back. I'm going to take the pawn, and I'm going to play bishop to g6 checkmate. Because the knight would be pinned. So if you can see all that, great job, because that means you're following my crazy brain. Okay, you pushed, which unfortunately for me is a good move, because now Ziggy can escape. So my rook's going to go all the way back. Could I possibly make a comeback? Let's play this and see what happens. Okay, you took. Now my bishop can at least come back out to a good square. The problem is I'm behind so many points that I can't even take your rook. Ooh, that's a free piece. I'll take free pieces. If I don't have to give away my bishop, I will capture some material. Okay, now comes a big decision. 99 times out of 100, I'd be very happy trading a bishop for a rook, getting 5 for 3. But I have such a limited army remaining that I can't even afford to do that. I'm just going to push my pawn to give my king a little bit of air to breathe. Ooh, now if I move my bishop, it's discovered check. The problem is there isn't really a lot of good stuff to capture on the light squares. Again, if I take, even though it's double check, I'm going to lose my bishop. So So, do I do a single check? Of course, I could play bishop check and then take your pawn, but a pawn is not much. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push a pawn, just a totally random move, and I'm going to hope that you put a piece on a light square. Actually, no, wait a minute. I apologize. I'm not going to do that. If you play rook over, then my bishop is pinned and I can't even afford to trade rooks. So actually, in this position, I need to avoid this move rook e7. Remember, when you're behind like I am, you have to treat trades as threats. Imagine the rook's leading the chessboard, okay? Then imagine the knight's leading the chessboard. I'd be down to only a bishop, which is almost no chance of a comeback. So I have to keep material on the chessboard. I'm going to play bishop back, discovered check. You were distracted by Miss Pickles practicing her school spirit. Okay, Miss Pickles, thank you for your distraction, because you know what? By moving your king over, instead of blocking, or maybe blocking with the knight, now I take the rook for free and don't call it a comeback. Oh, goodness. Now I could take the knight, or I could play rook check and go after your rook. I actually like both moves. Now, if I play rook check, I do weaken my back rank, but I think I'm okay with that. I'm getting very, very close to being equal. Oh, wait a minute. When you see a good move, look for a better one. When you see a good move, look for a better one than that. And when you see another good move, play that one, because by the time you've done it 3 times, my original plan, remember, was to win this knight. I could take the knight with the rook, for example. Then I found a better move, which is rook check, winning the rook. But now I'm going to pause in this position because I think I have an even better move. Knight check. Your king has exactly 0 moves. Sorry, Ziggy. Thank you, Miss Pickles, for the distraction. You have to play queen takes knight. Then I actually get your queen off the chessboard. And then I am back in business. Knight check. That is actually one time where you should follow my advice about when you see a good move, look for a better one. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, ChessKid, I don't think that advice is ever bad, okay? It's not like when you become a grandmaster that suddenly when you see a good move, you should not look for a better one. Yeah, that's pretty solid advice no matter what your rating is. Okay, now, to count the material, I'm only down a pawn.
Oh, boy!
And your knight just moved to attack my bishop. Okay, now I gotta be careful. If I give check, your king can move here, and my rook and my bishop are both being attacked. I'm gonna play my bishop all the way back to safety. I'm gonna go there. Okay, now your rook moved. Got it. You know what? The king's a fighter at the end of the game. Let's get my king in the game and see what happens. Your knight is actually really bad over there on that square. So get the king in the game a little bit more. Ooh, now you could trade rooks. Rook over there might have been a good move for you. Instead, your king moved back. Okay, now I am going to go after your pawn. Now I'm going to check you. And when your king moves, no matter where you go, now I get this pawn, and now I'm not even down any material. Now, to be honest, chess kids, I'm not even sure that this was the best idea, because if the knight had captured, this knight, which was a really bad piece, was taking my awesome bishop, might have been an actually better idea for me to not try to go after that pawn right away. Okay, now black did not take my bishop, but black probably should have. Okay, now I'm going to play rook takes pawn. Now I'm actually up a pawn. Now I've got to be careful. If I move my rook, I might lose my bishop, but I saw this ahead of time. My bishop can go back, and everything is guarded. My king can go to safety, and now I'm up a pawn. And we're going to try to keep this knight in jail. If the knight captures back, like if I take it, the knight captures back, now the knight's in business. The knight's threatening this pawn. So I'm actually going to push this pawn and keep that knight basically stuck. I guess it could go backward. Okay, so you moved your pawn. Now I'm going to go here. I'm threatening everything. I'm threatening your knight, threatening your pawn, threatening this pawn. Oh no! Ziggy! The comeback is fully on. You just hung a rook, and I forked your king and your knight. And I think the comeback is officially going to work. Rook takes knight. All I gotta do now is invade with my king. The rest of the game I can play rather easily. The king being a fighting piece in the endgame. Hey, that's one of my general rules that we are using in this game. But the big lesson as we go toward the end of the game is not to just put all of your pieces on their normally great squares, because there are some chess positions where you need to make your own ideas. You need to look at your opponent's pieces and your opponent's plans and put your pieces on the best squares possible. Okay, this is not a stalemate. The king can move. If the king lines up with my king, I can play checkmate. But the king went that way, so I'm going to chase the king to the corner. Do not play rook to b7. That is officially the worst move on the board. That would be stalemate. In fact, rook to a7, even though it loses a rook, is not as bad of a move, because after the rook is captured, I can promote a pawn. So I'm going to play king to b6. I'm going to align the kings, and I think you know the checkmate. When the two kings are aligned and one of the kings is on the back row, we're going to play the move rook to h8, and that should be checkmate. And yes, Miss Pickles is going to help us figure out where we went wrong. Let's go back and look at the checkmate. Let's go back actually to the beginning of the game And even though you generally like your pawns to be in the snowplow, you generally like your knights to be on the happy squares, you generally like your bishops to be aiming at the center, I really want you thinking about your opponent's pieces and your opponent's ideas, and don't just play on autopilot, because there's going to be a lot of times in your life where you say to yourself, hey, I know Fun Master Mike's advice, but I'm not going to take that advice right now because I've got some bigger reason. And that really is going to be your key to becoming a great chess player for the rest of your life. Knowing when Fun Master Mike is right, and often when I'm wrong.